Boxing Voice.
Not only securing a venue, but also was very instrumental in putting this event together. I want to call her up to the podium, the co-promoter of this event, Kathy Dua. Kathy.
Thank you, Oscar. It's been a pleasure working with you. This fight, I believe, is going to be the most anticipated fight of 2014. It's so much more fun to put together an event like this that everybody wants to see. I can't tell you how exciting it's been for the last few weeks. Just the buzz that we're feeling around us, the excitement level, the anticipation. You know, you can feel it in the air. And I know November 8th is going to be a really special day. We've had a lot of special days at Boardwalk Hall. I do believe this fight really did belong there, and I am so grateful to the good people from New Jersey, beginning with Ken Condon from Caesars, all the way to all those people that Oscar just mentioned. I won't go through thanking everybody over again. I'll just second everything Oscar said about that. But this is going to be a tremendous event. I don't think there's anything I can say to add to that. When you have one of those fights where the bell rings, nobody knows what's going to happen. I've gotten so many people asking me, aren't you concerned, aren't you worried, don't you have trepidation? I don't have any at all. When a fight is this big and this exciting, when two great champions step in the ring and decide to test their skills against each other, find out who's going to, I'm going to say who's the best, not find out who's best, who's going to win the fight. They're both the best already just by being here. And so I want to thank Kovalev and Hopkins for showing how a true champion behaves. I want to thank Sergey Kovalev for showing the same thing. The day I signed him, Sergey's first question was, when can I fight for a world title? And the day he won a world title, his first question was, when can I fight for another one of these? So I feel blessed to be able to stand in front of you today and say, well, you got that chance, Sergey, and this is what boxing's supposed to be. So thank you for being here, and we'll look forward to the memory.
Thank you very much, Kathy. Now to the podium, I would like to call up a friend, a longtime friend, who I give all and most of the credit to at HBO for putting this together, along with my good friend Ken Hirschman. To call up to the podium for me has been always an honor after so many years working together, and that is my good friend, the Senior Vice President of Sports Operation and Pay-Per-View, Mark Tapp. Mark.
Well, today is not pay-per-view, so let me make that clear to start out. Peter Nelson is out on the West Coast, so I have the honor and the privilege of representing HBO and World Championship Boxing today. How great is it to be at the Waldorf Astoria and to have a statement like this made to kick off the press tour for this magnificent fight which will take place November 8th between these two great champions. It's the signature matchup of the fall season, and in fact one of the premier matchups that can be made in sport boxing today. Not only two light heavyweight champions, but the two best light heavyweights in the world today. It is very reminiscent of the throwback fights that we speak so often about. And in this case, one of the fighters was actually in some of those fights that we throw back to. And that's part of the magnificence of this event, the accomplishments of one Bernard Hopkins. I am very, very proud to be here today to announce that Hopkins Kovalev for the Unified Light Heavyweight Championship will be televised live on HBO. Live on HBO on Saturday, November 8th. We're thrilled that the marquee fight of the fall season and of the rest of the year will be taking place live on HBO, on boxing's #1 platform, where the biggest audience of boxing fans anywhere will be able to tune in and see this great battle. Bernard will be making his 22nd appearance on HBO. Dating back, as he reminded me when we saw each other a few weeks ago, to 1993, when he fought Roy Jones at RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. And when he beat Tavares Cloud live on HBO in 2013, he became the oldest man to win a major title in the history of this sport. Bernard may be the most amazing athlete in all of sports today. When the candles are lit on his next birthday cake, he will be 50 years old. He's competing against and beating men half his age in a sport which is not only the most grueling in the world on fight night, but which also requires a grueling training regimen for 6 to 8+ weeks preparing for every fight. An amazing feat, an amazing story, an amazing man. And he needs to be amazing, because on November 8th, he's taking on Sergey Kovalev, one of the most feared fighters in the world today, a seek and destroy world champion, who's not only undefeated, but who's earned the nickname of Crusher by knocking out 90% of his opponents, usually in devastating fashion. Sergey won his light heavyweight title live on HBO in 2013 with his victory over Nathan Cleverly, and he will be making his 5th appearance in less than 15 months on HBO. That's the kind of activity that enables a fighter to rise like a meteor, and Sergey has risen and delivered plus. We're very proud to be associated with Sergey and with his team with all of their fights on HBO. We want to thank Golden Boy Promotions and Main Events for recognizing the significance and importance of making events like this that have the potential to break out not only among boxing fans, but among all sports fans. I want to single out Oscar De La Hoya and Kathy Duva for the efforts they put forth bringing this fight together and to have it take place live on HBO. And I want to thank Ken Hirschman for, upon learning of the fight, saying not only get it done, but get it done now. He wanted this fight, Oscar and Kathy wanted this fight. Most importantly, Bernard Hopkins and Sergey Kovalev wanted this fight. As was said a few moments ago, they embody everything that true champions should stand for. When you have that belt, you put it on the line, not just against anyone, but against the best. They don't only want to be the best fighters in the world, they want to fight the best fighters in the world and create the type of legacies that stand up to the test of time. We'll announce the start time of the November 8th fight on HBO once we finalize the rest of the card with the promoter, so stay tuned for that in the coming days and weeks. And I'm also very happy to announce that given the importance of this fight, HBO will be producing a 30-minute special, Road to Hopkins Kovalev, which will be premiering on HBO Saturday night, October 18th. Thanks again to all of you for coming out, and we look forward to this very special event.
I would like to call to the podium Caesars Entertainment Consultant, Ken Condon. Ken.
Good afternoon, everybody. First, I want to thank the members of the press for this great turnout. I know it's the day after holiday weekend, but we want to get a head start on this promotion, and thanks very much. Special thanks to Oscar and Golden Boy and Eric and Kathy Duva. You know, when Kathy Duva called me up about this fight, I said, well, there's no other place it should be, Kathy. It's an Atlantic City fight. This is Bernard's backyard, Atlantic City. Bernard's been in Atlantic City for many, many years. And this is where the fight belongs. I know there was a question mark whether it be in New York or Atlantic City, but it definitely belongs in Atlantic City. Sergey's been in Atlantic City for 2 fights and created a following there. And this fight is an Atlantic City fight. So thank you to Oscar and to Kathy making this happen. Thank you to the fighters for agreeing to fight with one another. And special thanks to my partner in crime over there, Aaron Hirsch, the Commissioner of the New Jersey Boxing Commission. You know, I know there's been a tremendous amount of news in Atlantic City, not about boxing per se, but about other business situations. And that news has nothing to do with this event. Caesar stepped up to the plate and continued its tradition of long-time championship boxing in Atlantic City. And we are making this fight happen in Atlantic City because we believe in the future of Atlantic City, and we believe in boxing. Now, we've had a lot of partners with this promotion in terms of the local agencies down in Atlantic City, making sure that we keep big-time boxing alive in Atlantic City, and we thank them for their support. But rest assured, what you read in the newspaper has nothing to do with this promotion. We are moving forward aggressively, and we expect to sell out on November 8th in Atlantic City. So please try and, I'll give you a tidbit. I was just watching the news upstairs, and CNBC had this headline story, casino stocks take a tumble. Well, guess what? The Macau revenues are down, so it had nothing to do with Atlantic City today. So keep that in mind in your portfolio. So we look forward to seeing everybody in Atlantic City on November 8th to see this great matchup. And Bernard, thank you for all the years of boxing. I have to say, he's one of my idols. He's a living legend, and he's just been a great friend to Atlantic City. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would also like to acknowledge John Palmieri. He's with the CRDA, Executive Director. And to call up to the podium, next, he is the New Jersey State Athletic Commission Director. And like we all know, this fight here taking place in Atlantic City, it couldn't have been done put in a better place because of the commission being so capable of handling such an event with great people running this great show. So let me call up to the podium Aaron Davis. Aaron.
Well, November 8th is going to be a nice night. We have premier fighters, premier promoters, and we're going to keep on with the legacy that we have in New Jersey with having the premier officials, judges, referees. I'm going to digress for a second because it wouldn't properly be the commission it is now if it wasn't for a guy that's sitting here, and that's Larry Hatchett right here in back. He's our former commissioner. And, I'm just glad to have replaced a person who's in the Hall of Fame. And hopefully, one day, I'll be there. But before then, we have a couple fights to do in Atlantic City, and I'll see you there November 8th. Take care.
CEO Main Events. Kathy Duba to introduce Kovalev.
It's all going so well. Here's something right? Okay. That video will be online eventually, so you can all watch it there. At any rate, before I introduce you to Sergey, I was going to bring up the gentleman who, mark my words, is going to be the man of the year for 2014. If he's not, there's something very wrong. Everyone that he handles seems to be successful. Every fighter in the stable moves up with a bullet. He is a person who I had the pleasure to know and work with for just 2 years. In that time, he has shown me that he's a lot better at this job than most people that have been doing it for a very long time. No offense to anyone else, but he said one thing to me during the very brief period of time that we had to make this deal. It was the night before Sergey was going to fight, was going to weigh in for the Blake Caparella fight. He just looked me in the eye at one point when I was going through all the pros and cons of what was on the table, and he just looked at me and said, "Kathy, just make a fight." I wish to God every man from the world would say that to me. It would make my job so much easier. Vegas clears.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a good pleasure to be here in New York City, and of course, it's a much bigger pleasure for me to represent the fighter, Sergey Kovalev. We've been on a long run going with Sergey, on a long way coming up to the fight this big. And as I also said, it's not a fight, it's an event. First of all, I wanted to thank our promoter, Kathy Duba. I wanted to thank HBO for putting the fight guy like Sergey Kovalev. Usually nowadays, the fighters run from fighters. He came into the fighter, and this is, I've been in boxing a long time, and I see how many managers and fighters protect each other or protect their fighters. This is not the deal. This is two best light heavyweights in the world coming into each other to fight and to show who's the best. It's huge. Thanks to the board for helping to do all that, to main events. Come down, don't blink, and then November 8th, because it's going to be a big action in the ring. Thank you very much.
He's will leave in a couple of months. He's going to hold 2 more of those titles. Sergey Kovalev.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I want to thank my promoter and all my team, my name is my manager, Ladies Cleveland, Caesar Hotel, and also the promoter of Kovalev and Hopkins, Oscar Developer, and also Bernard Hopkins, because it is a pleasure in the boxing world, and also HBO. It's a huge and my favorite channel. So I want to say one thing. One day in Big Bear, when I trained there up the hill, I met first time with Oscar Developer, and I was knocked at the door to sign me, like promotion company, and I asked Oscar, sign me, and I will make a big career, you know. But he threw me down, and right now we're meeting in the ring, different side. And last, what I want to say, I'm a talker, I'm a fighter, and I'm sure that Bernard will do promotion and fight for both of us, and I wanna say everybody thank you, and watch HBO November 8th and come to Hotel Caesar Hotel. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm really proud to be involved in this type of event with Bernard Hopkins. Every time Bernard Hopkins fights, it's not just a fight, it's an event. I believe many people, not all people, over the years have maybe doubted, is Bernard Hopkins going to win? You know, is Bernard Hopkins going to win against Kelly Pavlik? Is he going to go and win against Antonio Tarver? But he's over 40 years old. How can he win? All those questions that people have are no longer. I believe Bernard Hopkins, everything that he does, he deserves. At 49 years old, being the oldest champion, I believe in any sport, deserves tons of respect. The fact that he's facing a crusher like Kovalev, another dangerous fighter, because Hopkins has faced many, many dangerous fighters. And this event, another reason why I'm so proud to be part of it, because we don't get to watch the Yankees versus the Mets. No, we don't get to watch the Islanders versus the Rangers, or the Giants versus the Jets every day. This is what we'll be witnessing, an event that doesn't happen very often. The two best guys in the light heavyweight division in one ring, November 8th. I can go on and on and on about the legacy of Bernard Hopkins. I can tell you from experience, he's good. He's really good. I can tell you the records he's shattered. Not probably, but being the best middleweight in the history of this sport. With 20 defenses, being a world champion for so long. And at 49 years old, at light heavyweight, he's still going, and still going strong. He beats George Foreman's record, being the oldest champion in boxing, and he beats it once again, his own record, in his last fight. You know, having wins against Felix Trinidad and the bigger Antonio Tarver and Winky Wright and Cali Pavlik, I really do believe this can just be the beginning for Bernard Hopkins. But that's just my crazy thinking. I think Bernard Hopkins, like we all know him today, I'm now convinced he is an alien. He is an alien. Let me introduce to you 5-6 and 32 knockouts, the unified champion out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Bernard the Alien Hopkins.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody that had a lot to do with putting this fight together in such a short time. Didn't take long at all. When fighters want to fight, that's what happens. Promoters want to do the fight, that's what happens. Managers, advisors, whatever the title they want to wear to say that they are who they are. You want to fight, you want to really do it, this is what happens. You get done. And Kathy Blue is a veteran in the game, just like myself, who managed myself since 1995. So I figure that my credentials is well respected, maybe not openly, but they are. I did thank the commissioner from Atlantic City, Mark Tapp from HBO, and also all the people that had a lot to do with it, even some of the writers who heard about this through a whisper or whatever, and then, piggyback and start writing it, and people start talking about it. So all these things really helped. But at the end of the day, it was the two sides, main event, and of course, the company that I'm part of, proud to be a part of, and that's Kovalev. Kovalev said something that's really true. It's really an innocent thing to say. Bernard's going to do all the talking to promote the fight. It ain't too much easy to say, but we'll say. Well, that's the difference between being multitasking, that means you can do more than one thing, and to be in position to, whether I come forward, whether I come sideways, whether I go back, or whether I do all the multiple styles that most of y'all witness in my 25 or 26-year career. I never got bored with this. I never got bored mentally. I'm not a person to go through the motions. Of anything I do, that can be kind of scary if you got to live with it. Because I am just as animated in what I do as an athlete and as a sports figure in the world. Amongst other sports, that I take everything I do extremely serious. And so, to me, I know I got to do what people is questioning, because how often can you continue to do? And, you know, there's no time set, stage, or plan. And I think about when I take on a task in life. You get knowledge right now in this press conference. It ain't about hollering, screaming, and jumping up and all that other stuff. I've done that when I was younger and I was in there. But that was the time for that. There's a season. We have those seasons. You know, if you're the East Coast guy, you know about seasons, or person. And there's a season in sports or athlete. The athlete's career, there's a season. I bloomed late. I didn't bloom by the timing of the experts that might even question their own expertise. See, when you write a book about Bernard Hopkins, in your mind or in your literature that you write with your pen or your pad or your Instagram or whatever you do, social media, you're going to have, and I'm going to give you, as all I can, you the most difficult time to come up with a title to call me, other than amazing. Because after our book, Kovalev, systematic. I don't want to be on nobody's, it's not a disrespect to it, because I represent it and I still think it's useful. But I don't want to be on nobody's pound for pound list. You know why? Because that makes me human. I don't want to be on nobody's pound for pound list like I'm going to have a party. Like I'm going to, we made the list. Don't y'all know I'm beyond the list, but not beyond boxing. You want to have to use your brain, because some haven't used it for a long time. Waiting on my demise. You come to a gunfight with one battle, you lose every time. You come to fight me. I'm not talking about anybody else before. Because you can put all those guys before. Great, fine. He's still a puncher. But you come to a gunfight with one bullet and I got to Uzi. So you take that one shot. Cool. I'll be aware. But to me, when you talk about the things that become new and old, the only thing I can do is just say, listen, I told you who I am. Some still don't believe. I have to prove it. But I got to move the fight because I'm trying to give y'all a chance to reconsider your stubbornness. To understand that the only thing I can do is show you. So for the questions that comes in the next weeks that we got to do our business come November 8th in Atlantic City, it should get old after a while when you see a guy that's representing himself respectfully and there's no freak show going on, because y'all definitely invited about it. Right? Y'all had my head, let's keep it real, that's your job. But enjoy a moment. Like some might like the Beatles, and some might wish they were still here if you listen to some of the music today, or other groups. Just use me as that example. If you could turn back the clock and hear the things that you don't hear like you used to hear before, as they say, man, I remember what we were going to say, man, that was good music back then. See, some of the old heads in this room remember those language in the car when you said, man, I remember that was good music, man, back in the day. So enjoy while you can enjoy it now and see it. And so instead of worrying about when I'm going to leave, how am I going to do it, am I breaking down, am I eat some kind of cereal or something? No. No. See, y'all humans. Y'all humans, I understand y'all. Y'all don't understand me. And y'all should. Y'all should. I mean, I've been talking this language, Tom Hauser, and all the other faces I've seen for over 20 years. They can go back to their archives and they can tell you, well, you know, love them to hate them, but I was talking this 93, 2001, 98. I mean, this language hasn't stopped. This is nothing new. It's not a money-winning quarterback thing where I'm successful 5 years ago, and I'm starting talking about this old stuff that I talked about 15 years ago. When main events was, at that time, doing back-to-back fights, I mean, come on. They was like rolling. So I'm glad that it not only helped a lot of people, but also helped myself. I got lawsuits dropped from people. I got main events back in a big spotlight. They haven't been there a long time. They've been on the drop. Remember I told you about the word season? Remember I told you about the word season? Season. I brought a lot of people that was considered buried, even companies, still alive, but really buried by the media perception. But I even accomplished a whole lot of things by satisfying myself. Now that's a non-selfish person. That really is a non-selfish person. But if he comes to the game with a bullet in the chamber, think that a punch gonna be all he needs. He might be right. That's why you gotta watch it on HBO. See, November 8th. You gotta watch it because, listen, y'all, walking the tightrope. Hundreds of feet in the air. No safety net. One mistake, crush him. You don't play with the crusher. He crushes people. Only 3 to 4 people survived this man hammer. This man got a really Russian type of hammer. But I'm in Ukraine now. So let's put this together. Come November 8th, and whatever he got against Oscar for not signing him, make sure you translate this to him. Take it out on me, buddy. He got a chance now to whatever he felt that he didn't get his due by knocking on the door. Can you please something? Now you got a chance to take it out on me. What better way to settle arguments? If the world thought like that, there would be less crime, jails be empty. Then nobody really get the money. But anyway, this is an opportunity for me to say to y'all, whether you're a fan or not, it matters, but it really don't. Come November 8th on HBO, you get to watch artwork. You get to watch a good, God rest his soul, jazz player, Miles Davis, do his thing. Miles Davis. You better watch Louis Armstrong with gloves on. So sit back and enjoy. Don't complain. Tuck your stomach in. Try to work out every now and then. And watch the ageless one take care of his business.
Also, and acknowledge Nazim Richardson, who's the head trainer for Bernard Hopkins, is in Bernard Hopkins' corner and comes up with a strategy. Let me take this opportunity to tell the fans who have always been there and keep boxing alive and keep helping the growth of the sport. You know, the fans have purchased that first-class ticket, you know, air boxing, a long time ago, okay? But they've been sitting coach. Well, November 8th, get your ticket, come on to first class. Come on to first class because you are going to see a show. You are going to see an amazing fight live on HBO. Thank you.
Sergey, and continue with Bernard.
The Boxing Voice.